Hey everybody, it is April 2nd, 2009. I am Sonic Sons. Now, I have an acquaintance of some sort, shall remain completely unidentified, of course. In fact, I'm going to flip a coin here. Let's say it's a woman. And this woman, friend of mine, is blank. Is what? Well, I'm actually facing a curious lack of adjective. Or rather, an overabundance of adjectives, all of which will sound mean. Because she is retarded. She is dumb. She is slow. She is intellectually deficient, mentally ill. You see, I say these words. And I imagine there must be some people out there haven't even heard this, and they have already formed a negative attitude towards me for daring to say it. Please note, I'm not saying words in order to offend people. I'm merely trying to express a general idea. I have a friend of mine, and I know various things about her, which I won't list because that would identify her on the internet, or him, as the case may be. I did flip a coin. And, one thing I'm trying to describe is that she's blank. I don't have any words. See, I had a conversation not long ago with some other people who were campaigning for the idea that we should abandon what they call the R word, that's retard or retarded, and that it's offensive and insulting, and we need to move past that and treat people as people, you know, and not as objects. And I said to them, look, you're very compassionate. I have a friend of mine who is blank, let's say mentally ill, I'll just use that phrase. A friend of mine who is mentally ill, and I know, even if I did not have that friend, I would still know that the mentally ill face a lot of prejudice, you know, mentally ill face a lot of challenges. There's a lot of people who think that somehow if you're intellectually deficient, then somehow you're morally deficient. You know, you're worth less as a person. You know, oh, you're retarded. You know, people can say that, meaning insult, or malevolence. And yet I said to these other people I was talking to, I don't really agree with your campaign. Now, obviously, I agree with the general idea with this. We should help, you know, anybody that needs help. The mentally ill often face prejudice, as I said. We should get rid of that prejudice. But when you campaign against a specific word, you seem to work on the theory that the prejudice is bound in the word. And I don't really think it is. So I got into this little debate. And this other guy was saying that, you know, for instance, retard doesn't really apply to people. It's not supposed to. It was meant originally to apply to the progress of a machine, or something like that. So if you refer to someone as a retard, you're thinking of them as a machine or an object or something of lesser value than a full human. And I was going to bring up, well, first off, words can have multiple meanings, you know, that may be rather unrelated to each other. More importantly, though, I need a word. You know, at the beginning of this video, I said I have a friend and she is blank. What word can I use? And he was saying that you ought to use the word of someone's specific medical condition. And I said, well, that's great. I believe in being specific whenever possible, but suppose I don't know what someone's specific medical condition is. Suppose I've just bumped into someone, you know, on the street, I don't know, and later I'm talking about this person, and I say, oh, and this person is blank. To which my debater responded, well, you know, you shouldn't have to say that they're mentally ill. I'm like, well, what if I want to? You know, what if I said, when this person was tall, and they had brown hair, and they had, you know, good shoes, and they had, you know, they were walking west, and they had an umbrella, and they were all, this person was also retarded? No, I can't say that. I can't, okay. What can I say? Well, there was a general preference towards mentally ill over retarded. But the guy I'm debating with seemed to be edging around towards the notion of you shouldn't even mention it at all. Which, of course, doesn't make much sense because he's mentioning it. And he didn't bring up any hard rule of no one should ever mention the existence of mental problems, but with his general campaign against, people using the word retard, there was a campaign against people using practically any other word that could be used for that scenario. Everything, it turns out, can be an insult. And why is this? Well, I'll tell you this. It comes down to the fact that the general idea of it is a bad thing. Now, don't get me wrong here. I can almost, feel the wheels turning inside the brains of my audience. Like, a bad thing? Are you saying you don't like the mentally ill, the mentally handicapped, the mentally... No. I mean, just the intellectual deficiency in and of itself. This friend of mine is incapable of driving a car, right? Driving a car would be a good thing, right? Well, learn to drive cars most of the time. It can get you places. It can do, you can have a separate debate about, global warming and whatnot. But overall, that's a good skill. She does not have this skill. Okay, so that would be sort of bad. I mean, just simultaneously, I don't understand quantum physics. I wish I did. I am sort of retarded with, respect to quantum physics. You see that? I also have a lack. Now, so long as, the general idea of being mentally handicapped is a bad thing, which it is, because wouldn't it be great if everyone in the world could be smarter? Not even just the particularly dumb, but if everyone, the whole spectrum, if everyone could be 100 points smarter than they are now, that would be a good thing, right? So as long as the idea of being dumb is a bad thing, which it is, any word at all used to describe dumbness is going to be twisted into an insult by someone. Right? It doesn't matter what you say, even. In fact, we've gone through a number of phrases already. I mean, I don't know etymologists. I don't know the exact progression of things, but I think at previous times people have used terms like stupid, and idiot, dumb, and fool, and slow, and not quite there, and look at this, all these terms. It's just, I'm not trying to insult anybody. And did you know that the Midlands Institute of Mental Subnormality had to change its name to the British Institute of Mental Handicap, which then changed its name to the British Institute of Learning Disability, which will then change its name to the British Institute of You're not quite the same as us, but it's okay. Or something. The anti-R word idea, the abolish the R word notion, is a good, compassionate notion. Good in the sense of being compassionate, but bad in the sense of the thought that this word is the source of our trouble. This word is the source of prejudice. Any word can be the source of prejudice. No, or rather than that, no word is the source. The source of prejudice exists outside of words. And as soon as you invent a word, any word, to describe the blank people, that word will be used at some point in a malignant, malevolent fashion. And then we'll have to invent another word. I'd be so much more comfortable if they could say, look, we're going to give, a word here, and this word will be the approved, acceptable word. We have this, for instance, at least to some degree, I don't know, with black people. It's now become pretty acceptable to call them black people, or African Americans. There's the other word, the N word, which is generally decided to be, very insulting, very offensive, that's what I mean to say. Though there are some people that use the word all the time anyway, and depending on context, it might be okay. But okay. At least I can refer to the guy. Okay, I met a guy, and he was tall, and he was in a hurry, and he was, walking towards the south, and he was black. Okay, good. I have a word now. I can express his darkness of skin color. Hopefully, without someone assuming that I must be racist because I mentioned that the guy is black.